This is George Zakalius, and this is Assignment 3. Um, so this is my output. These two shapes are using Select Color 3D shader, and then these two are using the Simple 3D shader. Um, yeah. Okay. So, Simple Color 3D, all I had to do was remove the world matrix, and then I just put it in its own C buffer. Um, yeah, so the user can still update the world matrix, but these work independently now. Pyramid. That's sphere. Okay, yeah, this is pyramid. Um, so it's not that different from box. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Um, and this is unit sphere. Um, so how this one is working is it's creating, well, here it's creating the uh, vertice buffers, the vertice buffer. It's creating them by each horizontal slice, starting at the top and working down. And then here is where I'm ordering the uh, vertices to form the triangles. Um, so yeah, I have it separated so that I'm creating the top of the sphere first, and then the midsection, and then the bottom. I don't know. I just found it easier to do this by splitting them into 3 sections, essentially. Um, I may it it supports variable H slices and V slices. Is it in models? Yeah. Yeah, so right now it's 9 and 12. See 6 and 6. Yeah, it's it I don't know, it looks a little crumpled on the lower slices. I'm not sure if it's supposed to look like that or something is off with my math, which I wouldn't be surprised. Um, yeah. So okay, so that um okay, number 4. Um, so for number 3, all I'm doing is I'm just updating the C buffer for so I have my models here. And then when I'm drawing the scene, I'm just updating my world matrices for each of the objects, which moves them around the scene, essentially. Um, for number 4. Okay, yeah, so here's where I'm creating the matrices, and I'm just sending these to the GPU when I'm drawing the scene. Yeah, so right there. For number 4, swapping the shaders. So what I did is I have I created one vertex shader, which does simple colors, and then I created another one that does selected colors. So I just made another vertex shader. I found that I didn't necessarily need to make a corresponding pixel shader in order to get this working. And as for the layout, since they since all of the models use the same vertice structure, I didn't have to change this at all or add another one for this assignment. So yeah, setting them initially, and then I only have to change them within the draw scene, so, and just the vertex shader in the draw scene. So I set selected color first, which draws the first two objects with selected color. So this would be the sphere, and this would be the cube to the right of it. And then here I'm swapping the shaders for the simple 3D, and that draws the other two shapes on the left. Come on. So yeah. So that's number 4. Further word stuff. So model 3, it's using the same model as model 2. So I guess why this works is because they're using the same model. It's the same vertices essentially. The only thing I'm really changing is their shader and their matrix. So I don't know. Essentially, what I'm doing is here's where I draw model 2. What I'm basically doing is I'm just giving it a new world matrix, and then I'm just drawing it again within draw. So obviously this saves having this means that I don't have to create multiple models. I can just reuse the same one, and that saves memory. And yeah. And for the shader class, so this is the header I came up with. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm taking this code right here. Yes. So I'm taking all this, where I'm taking the shader and then just creating a vertex and pixel shader out of it. I'm basically just doing that behind the scenes. I'm asking for the name of the file and just a couple things to allow me to connect to the GPU. And I'm just storing all of this inside the shader. I'm storing the buffers inside of the shader class. And then the shader is also responsible for releasing its own buffers, so I don't have to do that inside of DXApp. I imagine there's some, what the? Okay, so obviously I'm not using this yet. So the one thing I came up with, what the shader also has to do is you also have to be able to set it to active. So yeah, whenever it's called, it just sets the current shader to this shader to be the active shader. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.